Myself, Ankit Kumar. I have done my I have done my certification in from NIT Technology in DT Digital Transformation.
Okay.
Okay. Currently, I am preparing for job.
Okay. Nice to hear you. Thanks for participating, Ankit. Anyone else?
इसको ऑन करो, अप्लाई करो। राहुल, बच्चों से बोलो इंटरेक्ट करें, आपने आंसर्स दें, बिल्कुल ही चुप होके बैठ गए, नाम तक नहीं बता रहे अपना।
That's what I'm trying to.
Hello, very good morning, sir. This side Shishir,
Hi, morning.
and
Yeah, hi,
right,
Shishir.
I'm the student of CQS, and hello,
Yeah.
I'm audible, sir.
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Sir, I'm the student of CQS, and right now I'm pursuing BCA from the Indira Gandhi National Open University, and I have a experience in the field of cyber security also. That's my introduction, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Good to hear it. Bhavya, Aftab, anyone?
स्टूडेंट हुआ NIT का और यूनिवर्सिटी में भी काम कर रखा है।
Good morning, sir.
Vedika.
I'm currently
Yes.
course of Advanced Diploma in Computer Application from CQS, and I'm currently studying in 7th class.
Yes, sir.
Good to know.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hello. My name is Bhavya, and I am currently pursuing O-level paper preparation. I'm doing preparation for O-level here at CQS Training.
Okay. Yeah. Good to know. Look, guys, if you don't gonna interact, then how I'm gonna understand you?
Tiny meeting.
Okay, no issues. Then we'll start. I'll start with Spring Boot Java Development Kit, basically. So you might have seen, some of you might have worked with the Java, maybe learning in a learning stage. So to go with the Java, we required the few softwares, few JDK solutions like the Oracle JDK, and we can use multiple softwares.
बस 22 बच्चे
Anyone gonna say anything?
कोई देख रही है कौन सा वाले में सर
Ishpreet, can you mute yourself if you're not talking? Guys, you have worked with command line some time by any chance? Any command prompt activities you have done?
No, sir.
Okay. So basically, to run the few commands that we can execute without installing, without having the softwares into the system, we can directly use those with the command lines. We can execute the text editor, and within that we can write on the few things we can run and undo things. Likewise, you have seen cd for you we use for the change the directory, and the next name would be the any location you want to go with within the drive, within the location you have opened it. We can do that. Okay, I'll move to the direct software then. So have you guys any knowledge about the variables?
Yes, Java variables.
Or what are those? Can you give me a few examples of those?
So Java variables like static variables, private instance, and local.
These are the specifiers, the private, public, internal. These are the access specifier for the system where we can access the whatever the function, whatever the method we are writing on, where we can access those. Okay. To work with the Java, we required IntelliJ or the Eclipse. We could have used Eclipse. There are two softwares, IntelliJ and Eclipse. Eclipse do not provide you much flexibility like IntelliSense, but the IntelliJ provides you IntelliSense so that you don't have to remember all the code. You just start with the initial word and it gives you the examples, hints of those. Then you can go with that. So you can download the IntelliJ from the link. If you want, I can share the link. And you require to the ultimate version.
Sir,
It's
yes, please share the link.
yeah, I have shared it. For the student purpose, this could be the free for the 1 year, but or else you have to purchase it. But to not if you do not want to purchase it, then you can use Eclipse. Within the Eclipse, you have all the functionality you're gonna see in that IntelliJ. Both are working similar.
Sir,
So
which ID is better? Like we have to use IntelliJ or Eclipse?
it's
Which
up
should
to you. Basically, it's on the hand. It's up to the hands-on practice. IntelliJ provides you the ID. Oh, sorry. Basically, IntelliJ provides you the IntelliSense where you can write down the simple code and the single keyword, and it will give you all the hint.
sir, but
You can go with
for
that.
sir, but for Java we used to prefer Eclipse more than IntelliJ.
It's all about the learning, man. It's nothing to do with where you're gonna see. Most of the organization use Eclipse. Most of the organization use IntelliJ. But if you're gonna see in the market, and Eclipse is the major one technology which is going to be used. So when you launch the Eclipse, it required you to set the workspace where the code and the all the solutions you're gonna put. So when you set those, you can hit on launch. So we'll be launching that. Let it open. You anybody have written any codes, any solution they have prepared? Might be they know the classes, the method, how we're gonna write the hello world functionality you might have used. Guys, please answer. It has to be interactive one session. If it's only me who's doing the whole talking, then there is no point of doing that. Okay, in the meantime, I'm gonna write the hello world code. No answers, okay. So right for the code, basically we required a class. Everyone, anyone knows what is class?
Yes, sir. Class is a collection of.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Class is a.
Cannot hear you, man.
Sir, class is a collection of objects.
Okay, and what is the object? What are those objects? Okay, no issue. So when we write down any
Sir,
class, yes.
Class is a containing a Java bytecode that can execute the JVM, executed by the JVM.
On a generic language, class is a collection of multiple things,
I
object
was a Java
methods,
class
variables. So that's what we are talking about, the Java class. Okay. So anyone can suggest what we required in the main class when we route in any application. In the initial one, we required a static method, and what has to be. So we are declaring a static class. Within the static class, we don't require any return type. So when we don't return anything, we wish to not to return anything from the method, then we require the void keyword. We set it at the void, and there is a main. So whenever a class is executed, whenever the application going to be executed, it's gonna start and find the main. Within the main, it's gonna execute the main method, and which has the argument which is set by the environment, and it has to be the string one, string array. So does Java accept this type of string keyword?
No, sir.
Why?
String, sir.
Sir, because string is a class in Java and it should be in the capital. Yes.
Okay, nice. Thanks. So we set as an argument. So these arguments set by the environment. Before running the application, these environment has been set within the ARG, and whenever the application executed, it is gonna fetch all the pre-request argument variables, whatever you have set for this application, those are gonna capture within this request ARG, and you can write down your code further them. So within the class, I'm gonna write a output. So can you suggest how we print anything on the console?
System.out.println.
Okay, within this, we're gonna type any message. Whatever message we type here, it's gonna show on the console. So this is what I'm gonna print on the screen. Let me go and execute. So, okay, the application has been started, Eclipse. So we go and select create a new project. We create a Maven type of project. So this project is creating. So we have written our code, and suppose we want a custom input like any calculation or any mechanism we want to get here, we can write it down. Like I'm gonna see string, not the string, I'm gonna print and the number of student. Suppose I have hit the 5 and we can write it down here. We can extend this functionality with the help of plus keyword, and we write down the variable name, whatever we have set. So this is what is gonna print. Hello.
Hello, student 5.
सर
Okay.
Sir,
And
how
yes,
many?
यहाँ नम ऑफ स्टूडेंट के बाद आफ्टर 5 टर्मिनेटर नहीं लगेगा?
definitely लगेगा.
Yeah.
Thanks.
सर आप कुछ टाइप कर रहे हो क्या तुम?
Yes.
क्योंकि वो स्क्रीन फ्रीज हो गई थी ना, इसलिए पूछा.
Yeah. Okay. Now what I have done, I'm expecting a output from this add method with the help of int. It has to be the integer type return type. So whatever is going to return from here, that is going to be integer 1, and that is going to be written here. Like I have put add 10 plus 10 and 5. So it's going to be add 10 and 5. We gonna capture the 5, then it's gonna print the 15 over here. So these are the basic Java understanding which we have done. And if you talk about the Spring Boot, okay.
सर
Yes.
सर एक ग्रुप आईडी और आर्टिफैक्ट आईडी क्या है?
Group ID, basically it's a solution name. When we set a group ID solution name, so we
So
can have
solution
multiple
name as in-
artifacts. Sorry,
Solution name as in
solution name as in you can say the class. I'll give you the example, the CQS. Basically the CQS is a group name. There are
Okay.
multiple classes, multiple functions, multiple projects is running on. So if you want to capture anything from the another class or another project, we can use the CQS dot the class name, whatever the class name or method name, we have a project name, we are gonna do the artifact name. Then we can capture all the functionality, whatever the public specifier we have in that, we can access those. So this is how it's working. Basically the package, if you can see the package, it is consists of the group ID and artifact. So this is what I'm suggesting. The CQS is your institute, and there's two. Basically the classes, multiple classes you can expect the student, multiple student, might be some of the learning of the Java, some of learning of hardware networking, and multiple technology you can pick from that. So I'm creating a new project over here. So anyone know what is Spring Boot? Okay, all right then. Spring Boot basically we use for the microservices when we are gonna use the microservices, but the micro-based architecture when we're gonna use and we need a project solution, the organization required a Java-based framework, but as a microservices mean where we can gonna use the cloud interface, like interaction with the cloud, like EC2 machine, AWS, Azure, GCP, any new cloud technology we are gonna work with, then we use the Spring Boot, and those are called the microservices. So it based on the infrastructure, whatever the infrastructure we support and develop and we create. It give us the just run, basically not any implementation, nothing else is required. We just hit and run. The application is gonna execute and it's gonna fetch us the result. Let me open a sample project from myself. So as you can see, I have a pre-existing project, Book My Consultation, and there are multiple projects, multiple within the bigger solution. I have a different projects. Like one is for the appointment services and the doctor services. Eureka, you might have seen the Eureka. It's a interface which you might have a Swagger, which give you a UI base. And the notification services basically we gonna send a notification email or push notification or anything, any mechanism we can use in that. And the payment services for the payment rating to rate whole the process, basically the appointment. It's all of the booking consultation means when we're gonna visit a doctor and what we wanna do. We take appointment, then we will we take appointment, then we visit the doctor. After visiting the doctor, we make the payment, and the payment after the payment done, when the whole this transaction, a notification gonna trigger. When you create an appointment, then the notification is gonna come to us that appointment has been scheduled. When we visit the doctor, after visiting the doctor, the prescription would be sent to us. Then after that the payment we're gonna do, and then the rating the whole transaction, whatever we have gone through, how much we rate that doctor. These are the user services. User services basically for the admin, you can say. And I'm gonna import this project here. like I've said. So the basic architecture we're gonna follow in this one. When we go to Java, this is the tree. Within the application, the SRC has a main folder, then the Java. Basically, SRC is a root folder for this application. Within the root folder, there is a main class folder. Then it's the main, then the Java and the organization. Organization means the group ID which I've shown you. The group ID is gonna pick that one. Then the project type. It's a tree architecture which I have followed. The appointment services has this one, and it is the microservices which I have created, the Spring Boot microservices. It has whole layers, the DAO layer, the custom layer, the exception layer, the model layer, the service layer. It has three to four layers. Basically, if we ignore this custom validator and the exceptions, there are three layers: model, DAO, and the controller. The controller consists the application, basically the route. Anyone, you might have heard about the APIs.
Yes, sir. REST APIs I have heard about, and multiple APIs I am working, like backend APIs, right?
Okay. So these all are the APIs. The solution, the whole solution is based on the API architecture. It's all about the APIs.
Sir, which type of API we are using over here? Authorization or authentication APIs?
Authentication is a different thing and authorization is a different thing. It's not based on
Sir,
the
your
APIs.
voice is not clear, sir.
Okay. Is it clear now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. The application, the authorization and the authentication is a different part. If we're gonna put some authorization and authentication over the application, it's up to us. It's not the application which is gonna ask to us that you have to implement the authentication and authorization. It's for our security purpose.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a REST type of a controller. To provide the REST type of controller, we're gonna need an attribute as a REST controller. But sorry, but I cannot execute this project right now because it's required the AWS configuration with the EC2 machine, and I do not have right now, certainly. Sorry for that. Okay, let's move back to the project explanation. So this is the
sorry to interrupt you, but I want to ask one more question.
Yeah.
But it depends on us which type of API we want from the, मतलब मैं किस टाइप का API चाहता हूँ, ये मेरे ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि ऑथेंटिकेशन या ऑथराइजेशन के प्रोग्राम के ऊपर डालना चाहता हूँ, या हमें प्रोग्राम बाय डिफॉल्ट बैकएंड में बना के देता है.
Let me clear you the concept of authorization and authentication. Authorization, basically we give the authorization to access the whole application. Let's take an example of a Google. So this is called authentication. Likewise, I'm gonna put my credentials over here, whatever I have. So this is authorization. Authorization means that I'm authorized to access all the services, all the facility which Google gonna provide me. So I'm authorized to access that. I'm able to authorized. I'm authorized user right now. So I can see and go and see my Gmail account and anything any apps which Google gonna provide. But if you go onto the YouTube, so YouTube has a premium feature, the YouTube Premium, but I'm not authorized user to access the YouTube Premium because that gonna charge me some money, right? Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Like I'm not authorized to access YouTube Premium because I'm not a valid paid customer for this one. So this is called authentication and authorization difference basically.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So come with your doubts. I love that. I'm gonna learn as well.
सर भी आगे आएगा तो पूछूंगा सर.
Okay. So this is the authorization, and what I have done the login of this account, that was the authentication. So I can not access this one. So and that will goes over here as well. I might have implemented the GWT's token somewhere. Let me pull it. Okay. So this is the authentication part. Anyone heard about JWT tokens?
Yes, sir. I have heard, but अभी वर्क कर रहा हूँ तो मतलब समझ ही नहीं आता क्या है.
JWT is an authorization token. Basically, it's give you the bearer token or to validate a client or validate a payload.
सर किस टाइम पे मतलब जब हम ऑथेंटिकेशन कर रहे हैं तब या ऑथराइज हो रहे हैं तब?
Both.
Okay.
Basically, API doesn't have the authentication part. It has the authorization part.
Okay.
Authorization means the token which we're gonna pass, like the authorization. I have used the JWT token. Postman. To communicate within the API is the solution which we use Postman. Postman is a better tool to communicate and run your application to check and debug.
सर JWT टोकन वही ना मतलब जब यूजर की इंफॉर्मेशन कैरी करके जा रहा होता है बैकएंड में.
Yeah, a sort of, you can say. It has a complete payload structure.
Sir, JWT token is also carry the session ID or something?
It capture everything like header, payload, and signature.
Okay. भैया आज हो गया डाउट क्लियर JWT के ऊपर.
Look, this is the auth tokens. These are the auth token. It's an encrypted keyword. It has the complete payload, header, and signature. When we're gonna decrypt it, we can have the principals, the user principal, like it's gonna give us the loaded by the username. So whatever the username details we have, we can get and we can use in the user principals.
Sir, user principal means?
User principal is a class of the authentication. Okay. User principals means the whole collection. Wait, just give me a moment. I'll give you the complete explanation on JWT. Okay, are you able to see my screen now? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm giving an example of authentication, basically JWT token. So I have an API.
Sir,
It's
your
an
voice
asset.
is break, sir.
Okay. Is it audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's an API.
Sir, your
Just
voice is not clear, sir.
still not clear. How come?
It's clear, everybody.
No,
Please
sir,
check
no.
your network. Please check your network. Sir, voice is very clear.
Is it clear now?
No, sir, no.
No.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There might be some network issue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right now.
Okay. So when we are gonna hit an API, we require an authorization. So authorization consists of token, multiple ways of authorization we have. So currently we are using bearer token. So it's an encrypted one. We create this one with the help of multiple values like username, password, the hello, the header, and the signature we're gonna put in. It's an encrypted one, so we cannot see those. So when we hit an application, we're gonna hit on the send. So it's a JWT authenticator. Okay, class, you can see it's a JWT authenticator class. So I'm gonna go into the deep a bit. So the context, basically context is a run, the application running context, the session, you can, the thread, whichever thread we are working on. So it's gonna capture that thread and it's gonna put it to the endpoint. So it will check if the endpoint is null or not null. It's not null. So this is the authentication part, the execution. It's gonna capture from the header, the authorization, this key, this is gonna fetch. We have this key, right? The same key which we have provided over there. We're gonna capture that. And after capturing the few mechanism, the changes, and then we gotta check if the user is authorized to access this API, whatever the URL he has hit, he is trying to capture. Is he authenticated? So it's a JWT operation class where we have our functionality, like we have a different. So in this project, we have two types of validation and authentication. So the token which we have provided over here, JWT token, and the key, because we cannot decrypt this key over here. So to decrypt that one, we required a key, and the key is put into the file. Okay, auth public key. This key gonna help me to encode, sorry, to decode that file so that I can understand what is the header, what is the session values they have provided, what are the signature, and what is the payload. So I'm capturing whole that thing with the help of encoding and decoding by this. So as you can see, the JWT token now the validate token. Okay, it's a handler class. It is gonna provided by the JWT token. So there are DLL or a package for the Java. It has been a package you can import, and for the .NET, it is going to be the DLLs you're gonna inherit from the Nugget packages. So likewise, I was saying the RSA is gonna import the key which I have shown you here, this key, is gonna import over here, so that the issuer sign, whatever the signature, whoever has the authorized and authenticated to sign or decrypt or encode this one, we're gonna fetch those values. Then it's gonna check the token is valid or not. The auth token, the same token which we have provided over here, and the validation parameter, the file which I have shown you just now, the auth public key. With the help of this, we're gonna decode, and we have decoded that one, and it has been validated within the class, the mechanism, the DLL which have, and as you can see, it's a valid user and the value is set to be true. Okay, now you're talking about the principal. There are few value which I'm gonna fetch from the token. So like I've shown, you are asking the sessions we can have. Yes, we can have sessions and we can have our custom values in that. So the custom value which we have in the token is our company ID. So I can access that by the same process, encoding and decoding. But for the encode and decode, RSA key, RSA token is needed, and the RSA token we have here. Okay, now the user has been authorized. It can access. If the user was not authorized, then it's gonna throw invalid authorization header, because the header consists the key. Okay, the principal I'm saying, principal have the complete identity and the ticket authentication part. Within the principal, we have a token type, what type of token we have given, the claims, basically the claim is the custom values we gonna keep. So I'm gonna keep a name over here. The name consists basically the value which company ID I have fetched from up. So that has to be in. And the principal is a base class for the identity. And the identity has the key, like I've shown you earlier, the authentication type and the claim name. And it has the claim has the custom values, what type of user I have been provided. I have provided the local authorization. Local authorization means the token file which I have. So it has been authenticated and authorized with the help of this. So the principal consists of multiple values, like the authentication and authorization we are giving. Am I clear, or do you have any doubt in the principal?
No, sir.
No, as in no doubts.
No, sir. Right now, not.
Okay, good. So anything more you want to know about the JWTT?
सर वो थोड़ा आगे पढ़ के बता
Okay.
पाऊंगा.
No issue.
अभी तो इतना समझ आया कि कैरी करता है वो बैकएंड के यूजर इंफॉर्मेशन को.
User information is not gonna carry into that. It's an encrypted part.
Yeah, encrypted part, yes.
Yeah, because no one has. We do not want to expose our credentials or anything to end user. So that's why we are keeping everything into the encoded and decoded format. Okay.
Okay.
So whenever anyone is gonna access this appointment services, the JWT token filter is gonna execute it. And after the execution of JWT token, if the user has been authorized, then he gonna access my APIs which I have written over here.
Okay, sir.
So API, there are multiple. There are 4 types of API. Can you name it? Okay, Ashish. One is post, or one is get, post, patch, delete. There are multiples, but most of times we use get, post, patch, delete. Get is for getting the information, like I have been doing here. So you have to hit this URL, the doctor ID you have to provide over here, and you can fetch the detail of doctor from this API.
Sir, method and API is both are the same thing?
No, method
Method like HTTP method, like get method, post
Yeah.
method, option method.
Yes.
They both are the same thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the types, HTTP types, we have provided over the APIs. We have
Okay,
to
sir.
create our method as a API, as a controller to expose to the user, to whole environment. To expose those, we required some few functionality. I can show you the HTTP status, the Spring Boot annotation, the response entity. So this is how we're gonna expose our APIs. So get used for the get information, post is used for create a new user. So I'm checking after getting the information if the doctor availability is there or not. If the doctor is available, then I'm gonna send a request. Means I'm gonna post a request so that my appointment can be scheduled. So this is what the application is doing. The post and patch is for the update. Suppose you want to change your time, you do not have time and you're gonna update your existing appointment, then you're gonna use the patch. Might be I do not have the patch over here. I first not needed that time. So these are the packages. Packages means the collection of
So packages
classes.
mean predefined, मतलब एक folder है जिसपे predefined आपको command दे दी गई है और हम वहाँ से import कर लेते हैं जो हमें चीज चाहिए होती है.
Can you bit more?
Class collection of classes, yeah, similar like that.
Okay. So it's a collection of classes package. Like within the DTO, I have few classes like appointment availability, custom response, doctor DTO. If I'll show you over there, the SRC, I have to SRC main Java organization upgrade appointment. Okay. So this is our main class, the appointment service application. It does the initial setup, the application, how the application is gonna run. This is how the setup is done. We are creating a new user and assigning a role over to it, to the user class. Bean is basically for you can say for the class of execution. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So bean is applied to the method which we have created. So it can return the context. So it is gonna return a context to the user DAO, the application, the user DAO, because within the appointment services, a user need to be authenticated, user need to be validated. Then that's why we have created a bean of the user DAO. I'll show you the DAO basically. So DAO is sort of an interface where we create our methods, where we implement our DAO, where we extend our DAO, then we have to implement all these methods. Do you know about the interface? Anybody knows what is interface?
इंटरफेस हमने पढ़ा है, जावा में पढ़ा हमने.
जहाँ पे भी पढ़ा है, where you have learn? Can you say that? Share your learning. Yeah?
Sorry, sir.
You said you haven't learned interface for the Java, right?
Yes, I have.
So for what do you have learned about the interface? Okay, just leave it. Interface is an abstract type where we contain our methods, not the concrete one, but we declare a definition of that into the interface. Like within the appointment entity, I'm gonna need the find by user ID. So this is the interface, and I have to implement this into the model class, into the DTO. No, not the DTO, sorry. Not, okay.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Were you
Yeah.
typing something?
No, sorry.
Okay,
I was on mute and speaking. Sorry.
okay.
Okay. So within the there is a feature the Spring Boot provides. So we are extending the GPA repository of appointment info entity. So basically info entity means we have created the structure of the table. So it's a structure of a table. At the runtime, the table is going to be created into the database. Like I have given the annotation of table and it's a name of appointment, and the schema would be the BMC, basically book my consultation. So these are the fields, these are the columns which I'm gonna need into that. Doctor name, username, user email ID, user ID, time slot, symptoms for the appointment to schedule an appointment. And I have a constructor over here, the appointment info entity constructor, and the another constructor, it's a parameterized constructor. In the parameterized constructor, I'm going to expect some values to be inserted, like the appointment ID. So I'm going to set these value over here. Whenever any operation is going to be happen, then it's going to insert into the database with the help of these getter setter. These are the getter setter. Basically, one is getting a value, one is setting a value. As you can see, I'm returning a value. Okay. And I'm setting a value to the appointment ID. This keyword means I'm referring a base class. Basically, this these property I'm trying to access. So that's why I'm mentioning this dot appointment ID, because I have to set it into the entity, and the entity column type is mentioned here. So that's why I'm gonna use this dot appointment ID, this dot appointment date. This is how the entity is going to be work. The JPA, basically the JPA repository. JPA repository means the database which is going to be running the CRUD operation, which I'm gonna run through the API. Those are going to be into the JPA repository. CRUD operations means add, update, delete, and get, basically. So anyone have any questions in this?
No, sir.
Okay. So there is a mapper class to convert the application, basically the logic, convert from the DT object to the appointment entity, like the entity I have shown you here, into the type of this one. To convert into that, we require a mapper, because we are, when we go to the API, we are exposing the DT only. Post. Okay. I have exposed DT only. I'm not exposing the entity type, because we have to give some privacy. We cannot expose whole project in front of the client. So in the end user, so we have exposed the DTO. Within the DTO, we required some validation of the changes we're gonna do. So these are the interfaces, like I have been saying. Interface is type of abstract concept of abstract, which only have the definitions, not the declaration. So in a Spring Boot, we require what type of exceptions we're gonna throw from this. So we have a parse exception. When we are passing the request, whatever the DTO is come and we are unable to parse, then it's gonna throw the parse exception. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to the implementation basically for this one. So here I've been doing the implementation of the appointment service. Like I have seen, I've said the DTO is gonna come from the end user within the request type. So like the mapper has been working over here, the convert DTO to the entity. The DTO is coming here, and I want to convert it into the mapper type, so that the performance, the CRUD operation can be done. This is the CRUD operation. The DAO functionality is gonna provide with the CRUD operation, like .save all. It's a bulk operation. .save all, .get. If I'm need something from the user, from the database, then I'm gonna go and response dot get the user ID. Get by user ID, I've shown you the function. Get by user ID, I'm gonna put into the user ID and it's gonna give me the result set. So it's a book appointment type. I have converting the DTO into the mapper and generating a random UUID to put in into the appointment ID. It's a unique ID which is gonna generate every new time whenever new request came in. Then the status. It's a time zone functionality. Yeah, this one. The DAO if I show you the DAO, okay, these all the methods has been provided by the DAO to me. The functionality which I can do into the performing operations can be done. The CRUD operations you can see. I can do the delete over here with the DAO help. With the help of DAO, I can do the delete. I can do the batch, delete on a batch, delete by ID. I can set account, find all. Find all means it's gonna give me the result of in all the availability in the list type. Find by distinct user availability date. Like I've given a doctor date and it's gonna give me the availability date for the doctor. So these are the functionality. Whatever you're seeing, these are provided by the Spring Boot. The DAO layer is going to provide me all this functionality without writing anything else. If I want my custom output from there, then I can use, like I have shown you over there, this one, the find by user ID. So it's a custom type which is returning from the database, which I'm expecting those. So any doubts in a Spring Boot? Okay. So anyone heard about the database? What are the database and what type of database we have? Okay, I'm gonna
So
give you. Yeah,
there are
sorry.
two types of database, RDMS and I think there was another DDMS, I think.
No, basically there is a SQL and no SQL type of database. SQLs
Yeah,
mean
yeah.
the
Yes,
Oracle.
yeah, SQL is the Microsoft SQL Studio is of Oracle, and there was another MySQL.
No, 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 no. No SQL and SQL means basically which have the indexing and all the row,
Yeah,
like working as a row wise. Those are
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
SQL type. And no SQL type means document type, file type, and the if you go about the MongoDB is a document type database where we store as we pass as a JSON and it's gonna store as a document. We cannot do we can do multiple things, but it's not like the SQL. You can see like the Excel you're gonna see the column and row. So MongoDB does not have that. So MongoDB is simply the document type database where you can perform your activities, where you can store your files. It's a fastest working database type. That's why we are using. So in the document means it's a key value pair. Within the key value pair, the key is gonna this distinguish one. It's not going to be the duplicated one. And the values we can have multiple values, and it has a dynamic schema. Like you can see in the SQL, Microsoft SQL, we have to provide all the columns we're gonna need, like name, user ID column, start date and date. But for the MongoDB, we do not require any of that hard-coded columns. At the runtime, it's gonna work as a type schema, but it's a dynamic type. You can pass anything. Suppose first time you have passed name and ID, so it has only created name and ID column. Next time you have passed name, ID. SQL. I'll give you one of the SQL example. ID, name, class. So ID is one, name Rahul, class 12. Okay, this is a SQL type database. It has to be same structure, same schema every time you're gonna hit this. But for the MongoDB, it is like ID, name, description, class. Okay, first time you have done like this one. Next time you came with the another request. So you have a same for this one, like you have similar a ID, name, description, class, and the another column you're gonna get next time. Suppose you have to put the comments. So this is how this structure is going to be. It do not have to be the fixed one. It can be the dynamic one. Next time, this is not going to raise some exception that you do not have comments column, then you cannot put anything in that. MongoDB does not support that. So you can anytime, anywhere you can extend a column, anytime you can extend a row, and MongoDB does not have because it's have a dynamic schema. The new structure came in, the new type of files it's gonna create. So basically, if we talk about the advantages over the RDBMS, MongoDB is a document type and it does not hold the collections basis. It's a dynamic collection. Number of fields are not required. Runtime values can be generated. Anytime you can extend a column value. No joins, no complex joins like in within the RDBMS, we require a complex join. Inner join, left join, outer join. These are the RDBMS type of joins. But for this one, for MongoDB, we do not require any complex joins. We simply go and fetch our values and do the manipulation over the databases. The benefit of MongoDB is indexing. Basically, indexing work on attribute, not on the column and the row values. It works on the attributes. Any questions, Rob? I can understand I'm not providing any So there are few commands for the start and stop of MongoDB because it's a command type architecture. You need required a commands. for this application, I've been using MongoDB, and this is how we set up the MongoDB. It's a EC2 machine configuration over here, and the type of authentication authorization we are providing. BMC means the database, and the table name is a rating service. It's a dynamic type, so it's a rating service. And to start and stop the services, we have few keys. Working with MongoDB over the cloud. Like I've said, it's a document type, dynamic type database. It's work on a platform as a service. So we are setting up the MongoDB over the AWS, and there's a few steps we required to set up. We're gonna need the EC2 machine. Okay, these are the commands to use in a MongoDB. It's a type of a collection. So within the collection, okay, we create a database. We have to use a database. We are using a database. We provide the name, the DB with after putting this use command, then we can use the db.creation. Creation means we are creating a collection within the database. Like you can see the table we are creating, and the collection we can insert a value and we can find a value. I'm showing you the CRUD operations right now. For the create, we do like a blog is our database. We do blog.insert and the blog ID, likes and comments. And the next time we're gonna update, for the read we use db.find. For the update with db.update, basically db.blog.update. We require to update the blog ID, and we have to put the blog ID first, then the blog ID and all the values in the column. Those we require to update. And the delete is same as the remove. It simply removes the values. So these are the few working of a MongoDB. So these are the few data types of a MongoDB: string, integer, boolean, double, object, array, and date. we can directly import the JSON as it work on a JSON type. So we can directly import a JSON to the MongoDB and we can do the running on an instance. Like the command mongo import db upgrade collection purchase and the file location and it's a JSON array type. So it's directly gonna import in this one. I'll try to get the running MongoDB next time. I sorry for that. Okay, this is for the MongoDB. Any doubt? Okay, if no anyone has no doubt, then we can close the call, ma'am. Hello.
Okay, so I hope everybody has taken some good information from sir. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Rahul sir, very, very thanks for giving your precious time to us.
Thank
Okay,
you, ma'am. Thank
in
you.
future we will again connect to you. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very
Thank
much.
you, thank you.